Hi, I'm Håkan Björk from Starbrix, and I'm really happy to have you here. You've been invited to join an organization in Starbrix, and you've accepted that invitation. A good decision. With Starbrix, you can manage everything from big, complex projects to small to-dos and your everyday calendar events. In this guide, I'll give you a short introduction to help you get started as quickly as possible. You might not be able to do everything I show here. That depends on the permissions you've been given, but the guide will still give you a clear overview of what's possible in Starbrix. To make this demo run a bit faster, I've prepared a few things in advance. I have already added a couple of projects. You can see them here. Some of those projects also have a few tasks, just so you can get a realistic view of how things look once you start working. I've also added some members ahead of time. I haven't invited them yet, but they're listed here as people in the organization. In the same way, I've added a few customers, just names for now, and also a few suppliers. So that's the setup I've done beforehand. Now let's go back to the project's view, and I'll walk you through creating a brand new project. Let's take a look at how that works. So click Add Project, and then give the project a name. The fields below are optional, so you can fill them in if you want, or leave them for later. When you're ready, just click Create Project. And that's it. The project is now created. You can add a description for the project. And you can define the project's current state. You can also write a short status description here. If this is a customer project, you can select a customer. And if needed, you can also add suppliers. For example, these ones. Next, I'll add the project manager. In this case, I'll take that role myself. And then I'll add the participants. Laura and Anna can join me here. Down here, we have the color settings, so we can give the project a color. Let's select this one. And we can also add project links, for example, to a project folder on Google Drive or OneDrive. After that, we set the planned start date and then a planned end date. Here we have the status field, but I'm not going to change that now. And here are the completion values. This one is updated manually, and this one is calculated automatically based on the tasks. Once the project has actually been started, it will receive an actual start date, and when it is finished, it will automatically get an actual end date. The next step is to create a task plan. There are several places where you can do this. You can create tasks here in the Gantt chart, or in the task list, or in the project calendar, or here on the Kanban board. All these views work with the same tasks and they are fully synchronized, so it's up to you which one you prefer. For this demonstration, I'll create the task plan in the Gantt chart. I'll start by adding 5 tasks. I enter 5 here and click Add Task. And here they are. Now I'll give the tasks their names. Next, I'll schedule the tasks. I can do that by typing the dates in the planned start and planned end columns, or by dragging directly in the Gantt chart. For this demonstration, I'll create the task plan in the Gantt chart. I'll also create dependencies between the tasks. This isn't required, but it's very helpful when you adjust the schedule later. For example, if task B depends on task A, I can create a dependency so that task B cannot start before task A is finished. Dependencies also keep things synchronized when you move or shorten tasks. Now I'll add resources to the tasks. I'll set myself as the responsible person for task A, and I'll assign Eric as the responsible person for task B. Starbrix will automatically notify him by email about the new task. Now each task has a clear responsible person. Everything we just created in the Gantt chart is also visible here in the task list. This view shows a few other columns by default, but it does not show the timeline bars. The tasks also appear here in the calendar. If I move to the next week, you'll see Task A and Task B here. You can also create new items directly in the calendar. For example, I can add a project meeting here. When creating it, I can decide whether it should be an event, a task in the master plan, or a simple to-do. The tasks are also visible in the Kanban board. I can drag them between the different phases. And I can also add new cards here. When adding a card, I can decide whether it becomes a master plan task or a to-do. To-dos are small but important activities that still need attention. We create them as to-dos to keep the main task plan clean and focused, while still making sure these smaller items get completed. The last tab is the summary. This gives you an overview of the entire project, its status, progress, and who is participating. Here in the project menu, you can enable scheduling in hours and minutes. Open the project settings, where you can manage project level permissions and adjust weekend settings and the project's time zone. Set the project notifications, archive the project, or delete the project entirely. Very good. That completes the overview of creating and managing the project's activity plan. Let's go back to the project's overview now. And here we see the project we just created. Now I'll create another project, this time using a template. Give it a name. And then I select one of the templates I prepared earlier. I have 2 templates available, so I'll choose this one. Next, I'll set the planned end date. Let's say I want the project to be ready next year on the 16th. I could also set the planned start date, but in this case I'll leave it and only define the end date. After this, I click Create Project. Now let's take a look at the Gantt chart. All these tasks were created automatically from the template. We can see that the final task ends on the 16th, the date we set. Templates save time, give you a consistent way of working, and help you reuse a good project structure again and again. If you need to edit the project afterwards, you can do it directly here in this view. Or you can open the project by clicking the Open button and make the changes there, whichever you prefer. Let's go back to the projects now. When no resource is selected, here at the top, we are viewing all current and upcoming projects in the entire organization. Right now, we have around 12 projects, but this list can grow to hundreds or even thousands. It depends entirely on how active your organization is. If you only want to see the completed ones, you can switch to Completed Projects. The same applies to tasks. Here you can see all active tasks in the organization, but you can also choose to show completed tasks. And again, the same goes for to-dos. And everything appears in the organizational calendar as well. We also have a dashboard here, showing an overview of how all projects in the organization are progressing. Under Resources, you'll find members, customers, suppliers, and workspaces. You might wonder what a workspace is. A workspace is simply a way to group certain types of projects. For example, one workspace for product development and another for customer projects. So whenever no resource is selected at the top, you are looking at the full organizational view, showing all projects and all activity across your entire organization. After this, I'll go to my member page to see all the activities that concern me, and then choose the Home view. The Home view shows all projects, tasks, to-dos, and calendar events that are ahead. In other words, everything that is still active and not yet completed. It brings together both big and small things on one page, and everything is shown in time order and can be edited directly in the view as long as you have the necessary permissions. If I only want to see my projects, I select Projects. If I only want to see my tasks, I select Tasks. And if I want to see all my completed tasks, I can choose that as well. Here I have my personal calendar, showing everything I'm involved in. And I also have my personal Kanban board, which displays all tasks and to-dos from every project I'm participating in. And here I have a personal dashboard showing how I'm performing across all my projects. I can also select another resource here, for example, if I choose Miguel Santos. I can immediately see that he isn't taking part in any project, but he is involved in this task here. I can also select a customer, for instance, Helios Manufacturing. Here I can see all the projects and tasks we are currently doing for them. And of course, I can also check all the projects we've completed for them over the years. The analysis shown in the dashboard will, over time, give us very valuable insights into our collaboration with this customer. I also want to show you another way to use the Select a Resource menu. Over the years, you will probably have many customers, members, and suppliers. So the fastest way to find a specific resource is to use the filter field. For example, if I want to navigate to Clara Dubois' member page, I simply start typing her name here and then select her from the list. And again, if I deselect the resource here, I return to the organizational level and can see all projects across the entire organization. Even though Starbrix is designed to be truly easy to use, I'm sure you'll want to learn more about how to use it in the most efficient way. You can do that right here in our Help Center. We've prepared a collection of short videos covering the functions and features that we believe will be most useful for you, such as how to create and use templates, how to use the Gantt chart, how to use the Kanban board, how to use the calendar, how to set permissions, how to define holidays. If you don't find the answer you're looking for among these videos, please contact us through the support page. Just enter your email, write your message, and send it. And we will do our very best to provide you with an answer as soon as possible. I hope you enjoy working with Starbrix and that it helps you stay organized and in control. In short, that it will make your life easier. And remember, you can use Starbrix on all your devices, PCs, Macs, tablets, and mobile phones, all directly in your web browser. No apps to download, nothing to install, and it's fully optimized for every device. Good luck and welcome to Starbrix.